So welcome back to Third Downs and Touchdowns. Apologise for lack of content the last couple of weeks, but been really busy with work. In this episode, we're looking at the Falcons game from last week. On this clip, it's the first quarter with 3rd and 4. The previous play was a tackle for loss on Brown on a screen play. So what formation do we have here? So we're in trips left. There's going to be some motion to get Gesicki on out on leverage, to get Gesicki leverage from the linebacker who's covering him. And so we're in trips left near Z tight. So near the running backs, near to the trips, and Z tight. Wilson at the bottom of the screen is tight to line of scrimmage. Route wise, we have Williams on the outside, doing outside release on the fade. Gesicki is doing shallow cross. Waddle is doing the out route. Brown is in pass pro, then going to release. And then Wilson on the other side is doing the underneath cross to try and get a natural rub. So defensively, the Falcons have decided to go 2 high safeties and then cover 1 underneath. So that means the safeties are going to try and take away the deep pass, and underneath, wherever the receiver goes, that defender is going to go as well. So let's have a look at the Waddle 22 film and see how it works. Okay, so here we go. Here's Gesicki at the top. This is Waddle, who the ball's going to go to eventually. So Gesicki comes in motion. So now he's going to have inside leverage. See, now when he breaks, the defender is trailing him to the inside. Right there, I'm not sure if there should have been a natural rub on number 24, but just focus on Gesicki for a second. As he runs the cross, the defender gets in front of him and takes away that route. This is Brown coming out of the backfield. This is pretty good coverage on Wilson. And here at the top of the screen, we have obviously Waddle, who's on the out, going to throw it to the sideline, catch it complete, and pretty good coverage on Preston Williams. Do you know what? Whilst we can see that Tua's been clearly flushed from the pocket here, and we'll look at that next, realistically, it's pretty good coverage because the route combination is just so ordinary. This isn't the fault of the players. This is, they're running the plays that are called. But you know what? We've got first down. So let's just have a look at pass protection and see why Tua was flushed. Okay, so offensive line versus defensive line. The Falcons are bringing 4 pass rushers, showing 5 with the linebacker wearing 54. It's a bit of a disaster on the offensive left. Both Eichenberg and Jackson get their feet caught under them and unable to handle a defensive line twist. So number 5, let's just look at it in film and make much more sense. So let's do that right now. Okay, so here we're just going to focus on Eichenberg and Jackson and their pass protection. So out here we have number 54, who's providing, who's a pass threat, but in pass protection, they know that Brown is either responsible for him or going to release into the flats. So here we go, looking at it now. Sorry for the blurry film, have no idea why it's doing that. Now this is confusing. So he's a run threat. So not confusing, but this slows down the protection. On the outside, we know that we're responsible for both these defenders. So here we go. Eichenberg is in good position here. He knows he's got his eyes here. Jackson knows he's responsible for this defender. And Brown knows he's responsible for that linebacker should he blitz. So in good position here. A little bit concerned about Eichenberg's body position here. Now, this is quite a good stunt from the Falcons. And I'll tell you why when we catch up. So this defender is going to force Eichenberg deep. So there we go. He runs into Eichenberg here. And therefore, Eichenberg now can't hand off that defender to Jackson. Jackson's in a bit of trouble here because his shoulders aren't square. So he's created a massive seam. So the outside defender slants in. Eichenberg lunges, which allows the defender into the gap. Jackson's exacerbated it by not having his shoulders square, making the gap even bigger. So that one defender basically blows up the play in pass protection. I know you could say that Davis also collapsed the pocket, but in reality, Davis is running that defender away from Tua. If both Eichenberg and Jackson had their technique together, then Tua might have been able to step up into the pocket. Ironically, I think that the change of angle helped Tua on the throw. So it actually worked out okay there. Still really poor play by Eichenberg and Jackson. So let's just get into the grades before we look at the next play. So finally looking at grades, negative grades for Williams and Gesicki because they couldn't create natural separation despite the route patterns that were called. And Eichenberg and Jackson just make a mess of the defensive stunt, allowing the pocket to collapse. So negative grades there. So enough of the negative stuff. Let's get on to the next Miami play.